cartography. I feel we should go halfway today and halfway tomorrow since you're a less experienced hiker and during Sunday school trips.
They're not really Sunday school.
Hi guys! Today, I'm going to show you how I started with my bullet journal. This is what I do on my off days from work. Just a coffee, some comfort food, and sit down to do some journaling. I only started using bullet journal around a month ago, and I have been loving it. If you're like me who loves to doodle and journal, but not really good at drawing and too lazy to write a full diary entry for your journal, you should try this. I'll share with you how I try to keep my journal cute and organized even though I'm not really good at drawing. Here I have my large pencil case out along with a roller. I just carry a lot of color pens or different kinds of blank inks to decorate. Oh, for the magazine, I just carry that around for inspiration, for YouTube or fashion or just anything. Just fun to read it. Choose some of your favorite pens from your big ass pencil case so that you are ready. Now let me show you what I did for the first few pages. The first page is just like a page where I wrote my name, like an introduction page. I felt like it was too empty and I knew that I could not draw something cute, so I just added a picture from a magazine. Next page is to write down the keys I use in this bullet journal. I think this makes everything in this journal more consistent and organized. I have circled for task, X for completion of task, and other things. I wrote down greater than sign to mark it as migrated, meaning the task was not completed but it should be done next day or later. Let's go to the next page, which is index page. I have some page numbers in here, but not all because I've only gotten to February, so there are much page numbers to write in here. By the way, I wrote down all the page numbers in my blank journal pages for index. I just wrote the page numbers on the bottom corners of each page so that later on it will be easier for me to refer back to. I think there are journals specifically for bullet journaling, which I was tempted to buy, but it was a little bit pricey, but I will leave the link in the description box below. So I did leave around 3 to 4 pages blank so that I can write all the page numbers later in the future. Next is my future log. This is like an overview of the entire year. I have months on the left and I have events that are important on the right, like birthdays or weddings or anything that might happen. Next page is my New Year's resolution page. I do have few goals listed, but I am not sure if I'm going to do a good job in keeping these. Okay, this page, I was very ambitious to fill them out quickly, but I'm still working on it. It is my watch read list. I have few movies on the film section so far, but not on shows and books section. Maybe if you have any suggestions, please let me know. It can be in English or Korean, so. Next page, I have do-it-yourself list page. Whenever I have some DIY ideas popping out in my head, I just jot them down here. Finally, January starts. Actually, I didn't start my journal until February, so I just added 2 pages of January, so that I can see some overall picture of what happened in this month. As you've seen in the January page, I have 2 pages of monthly overview. On the left, I have vertical month set up with dates listed on the left side. I had to mark Sundays to mark where each week starts. I divide into 2 sections. One is personal events and the other is YouTube section. I write down events that are important like weddings or dinner plans with friends on personal section. And on the YouTube section, I just write down the dates that I posted a video or when I will post in the future. This just keeps me on track of how consistent I am with YouTube overall. The next section is just a regular monthly calendar. I do something similar with the vertical one, but I do not add YouTube things on this one. On the section below, I try to write down goals for each month. Let's move on to the next page. It is a monthly habit tracker. I did write too many habits on this one, but I think I at least tried. I have dates written across on the top of the habits section and habits on the side. I try to mark the days I actually did any of these habits. Obviously, I didn't finish filling them in, so I'm going to do that now. Next page is my YouTube ideas page where I just write down some ideas of what to do for the next video. Finally, weekly page starts. I set up weekly page at the beginning of each week. For each day, I write down briefly things I need to do, like washing dishes or laundry or anything like that. Anything small, I need to write them down so that I can remember and actually do it. On the right side, I try to draw emoji faces to mark how my mood was for each day. Also draw how the weather was for that day. So far, I think the weather affects my mood a lot. And then next page starts with daily spread. Good thing about this is that you have no limit of how much you need to write for each day. I can write down as much as I want or as little as I want. I just, for the right side of daily spread, I used to only write how my day went like a diary. I used to hate writing diary because I am so bad at writing, like a full entry journal writing. But just listing things like what happened that day in bullet points intrigued me, and it has been so easy to keep track of my life. Oh, for this section, I decided to brainstorm some logo ideas for YouTube channel. Maybe you've seen the change in my new logo recently. Oh, and from this specific day, I decided to start writing 3 things I'm thankful for because I was getting too pessimistic about everything. So yeah, I think it has been helping me to see things half full, not half empty. One of the common mistakes I made in February is that I forgot to set a weekly page after Saturday, not Sunday, because that would be the first day of each week. I did this twice already, but it's okay if you're okay with it, right? I just added this picture again to fill up the space. Some pages you don't have to stick with daily spread pages, but you can just doodle drawings, ideas, or anything you want. These pages were for brainstorming for my winter to spring lookbook video. You should go check it out if you haven't already. This Sunday, I started to write down notes from sermon when I got to church. Since I look at this journal every day, I think it would be a good reminder to read it again later. So I want to show you how I attempted to draw something here. It is just a random minimalistic, I don't know, something. Milk here, it's so random. It's not like I wanted to drink milk here, but still it's cute. This is the most I can draw. Finally, it is the month of March. I already started to set up for this month, but you can plan it with me. For this month, I decided to add mood tracker section under my habit section to see if my mood is affected by what I accomplished for each day. I started drawing lines with a pencil so that I can change it if it goes wrong. I mean, for me, I'm not artistic, so even just drawing a line can be difficult for me. Then I started writing down dates with a pencil so that I can see if the spacing will be okay. Then I wrote it in a pen again. I remember having a hard time marking for each day because there is no line or any kind of dot to mark which day is which. So I decided to draw fine lines to make it easier for myself to mark it. I dare not to draw it in a pen because it might look ugly or go messier. But we'll see what happens as the time goes. For mood, I made 6 different mood options. Excited, good, okay, blah, and sad. It's just personal, so if you want to try this, maybe you can just make your own mood sections. As you've seen in my previous pages, next page is a weekly spread page. I am drawing lines with pencil again and then with a pen. And then I wrote down days and dates. The month of March started on Wednesday, so I wrote the date accordingly. I'm again drawing how my mood was on Wednesday. I guess I had a horrible day. Probably work was not really great, I guess. Writing my usual 3 things to be thankful for on the right corner so that I can at least be positive for 3 things for each day. When I forget to write anything for a day, I just try to remember what happened for that day and write it down the next day or whenever I remember. It can be a nice memory exercise. Oh, some of you might wonder why my notebook is so thin. I actually bought a set of 3 of the same notebooks, so I will continue on other notebooks when I'm done with each one. I thought carrying a thick notebook might be too much for me, so I chose these thin notebooks. But really, it is your personal preference. I just wanted to show you that it does not have to be a certain journal specifically for bullet journal or, any type of journal. So, this is it. This wraps up how I started my first bullet journal and how I am continuing to do so. I hope this was interesting to watch. This might serve as a tutorial, but maybe not, but I just wanted to show you how I actually do it. If you have any other questions about this or anything really, just please let me know in the comment section down below. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. I hope you have a great day. See you in my next video. Bye!
Want some beef jerky?
Okay.
Let's go.